2025 World Series of Poker Day One. Wow. Wow. I was shocked. I am entering a new era, and you're not going to believe it. But you must watch this video if you're going to play this year. If you're going to go to the World Series of Poker and play this year, please watch this. You'll be glad you did. Again, you are not going to believe this story. If you are coming to the 2025 World Series of Poker at the Horseshoe in Las Vegas, please watch this entire video. You will be glad you did. I am tired. If I sound tired, I am. But force yourself to watch this video footage, even if it starts repeating itself. This is live footage down at the World Series of Poker on day one, because what I went through was insane, and I am an old man, and that's why it was insane, because I am an old man, and I admit it, and I was not prepared. As some young kid told me later on in the day, I got there at 8 o'clock at night, he told me I did not do my homework. He was absolutely right. If you watch this video, but if you will be fully prepared. So please, watch this entire video and you will be fully prepared, and you will be glad you did, and you need to be prepared. First off, this ain't my first rodeo, okay? If you don't know who I am, don't think this is my first World Series of Poker, because it ain't. My first World Series of Poker was way back in '87. And thinking back to those days, compared to today, I'm probably lucky I made it through the day. So what was my plan? Here was my plan. Easy. I would arrive at the Horseshoe around 8 p.m. I live in Las Vegas. So that's what I did. I drove down to the Strip. I arrived at the Horseshoe right around 8 p.m. And my plan was to play the last deep stack tournament. It's a $200 tournament. Starts at 8 p.m. So I waited in line to buy in, and I thought it would be just like last year. You know, I thought I'd show them my player's card, my ID, and give them $200. So I walk up to the window, and she said I needed an ID, which I knew. She said I need a player's card, which I had, and then, this was the shocker, I needed a smartphone. Well, you can imagine I'm an old man. I said, oh my God. I said, I told her I'm not going to be using my cell phone. You know, I'm an old man. I don't use I use my cell phone to talk. I don't like smartphones because I think they turn people dumb. But we won't go into that. But anyhow, I was I was convincing myself I'm not using no damn cell phone to play poker. But she was very nice. That's one thing. Every employee I ran into, they were very nice, they were very polite. This shocked me. But she was a matter of fact. She was nice, she was polite, but matter of fact. No. If you have no World Series of Poker app on your smartphone, then you don't play. And they're very kind and courteous and considerate. And you cannot get mad at them because they're so nice. And I'm just pulling my hair out. I said, why do I need a cell phone, a smartphone? Why do I need an app? I just want to play a little poker. But she convinced me. And I just happen to have my phone with me, so. And this is around 8:15 p.m. Remember, the poker tournament deep stack starts at 8 p.m. So I relented. Okay, you win. Let me download this World Series of Poker WSOP app on my phone, and she was so nice, tried to help me out for 10 minutes. 10 minutes I'm at the window. She's trying to help me get this WSOP app on my phone. The holdup was you need an email address. You know, you need to be able to get into your email address so that the World Series of Poker can send you a confirmation number. And here's the thing, I'm an old man again. I never use my phone to access my email. I just never do it. Never have done it. But I tried. And then my goddamn Yahoo email account, the Yahoo kept on trying to send me a confirmation number, and it wouldn't go through, and I could not access my email, and I was completely pulling my goddamn hair out. I was ready to scream, and it just wouldn't happen. I'm at the window for 10 minutes. And she's so nice, and that's the weird part. She's so nice and pleasant, and she's patient with me, and she's trying, but I gave up. I gave up at the window. She patiently put up with me for 10, 15 minutes. I was about ready to give up and completely walk out of the Horseshoe. But I confronted a couple employees outside the deep stack room. Now the deep stack poker room, you go up the escalator. It's on the Horseshoe side, right where the poker room is. You go to the right, there's escalators that take you upstairs. The deep stack room is up the escalators to your right. And I told them I found a couple other employees standing out there. They didn't look like they were doing anything. I told them my dilemma. I said, surely there's a way to play poker here without a goddamn cell phone. I didn't say that. I was polite. At first they said, no, you're going to need the WSOP app. You're going to need your cell phone. I just shaking my head. But after thinking about it, they said, okay, I know. They said, I know what. Go over to the Paris. Now, the Paris is right beside the Horseshoe. Remember, if you're going to do the deep stacks, you're on the Horseshoe side. But they said, go over to the Paris casino side. And that's a little walk through the casino. I'm not going to tell you how to get there. But you go over to the Paris side where the World Series of Poker tournament area is. And I think it's the Champagne Room. Don't hold it to me. I think it's the Champagne Room, but it's where customer service is. They said, go to customer service over there, and hopefully they can help you. So I did. I waited in line at customer service, and I must say, again, every employee I talked to was well trained. They were very polite, and that shocked me. I couldn't believe it because I'm not really used to employees being nice to me because I'm an old man. And I'm really frustrated. I'm here to play poker. I was ready to play poker at 8 p.m. And I didn't get out of hand. I mean, it was all bottled up inside of me. I felt like pulling my hair out. But again, they were helping me out so nicely. And because they were so nice, I kind of maintained some sort of level of civility. I was surprised myself that I was able to contain myself. I surprised myself. But it was all because they were so nice to me. So the customer service tried to help me sign up for the WSOP app on my phone. But again, I was having, since my email was giving me problems, signing in, sending a confirmation number I couldn't get into my email. And I wasn't having very much luck at customer service there. And did I say that I was pulling my hair out? Because that's what I felt like doing again. Finally, the customer service girl, as nice as can be, she walked me over to her supervisor, who was doing some overtime. She was doing a lot of overtime. And again, what a sweetheart. I can't believe it. She's doing hours of overtime. She's so pleasant. She's such a sweetheart. And this is what she tells me. She said, never give up, because she could read me like a open book. She knew I was about ready to give up. She knew how frustrated I was, and she kept on saying, this is what my dad taught me. She said, never give up. And she said, I got a computer here, and some way we will get access to your email. And I almost gave up, like I said, but she really did give me hope. And I never gave up. So I tried to use her computer. Well, we did use her computer instead of my silly little phone because I was having a problem accessing my email on my silly little phone. It wasn't working. So we used her computer, and after 2 tries, guess what? We did it. I had access to my email. She then used her phone. She used her cell phone to help me sign up for the WSOP app. They sent me a confirmation to my email. And at 9:30 p.m., we did it. I did not give up. Oh, man. And I do not I do not really even know how I feel at this point. I mean, all I really know is I feel really, really old. I think at that point, I got it all done, but I said, wow, I must be really an old man. I thanked her and I complimented her on being such a nice person. And I think she finally got to go home after hours of overtime. I joked at her. I said, "I'll be your last troublemaker," and she laughed. Day one, wow. It's 9:30 p.m. I thought it would be too late to play in the 8 p.m. deep stack tournament, but I headed back over to the Horseshoe anyhow. I went over there, and lo and behold, it was around 10 p.m. and I had 10 minutes left. I think the first break had just started. I had 10 minutes left to sign up, so I went ahead and signed up. And all I needed at that point was my player's card, my ID. She'd already taken a picture over customer service. They'd already taken a picture of me, and they had my picture in the computer. They had my ID on file. Remember, every year they cancel that out. So every year you have to give a new picture. They get a new picture of you. They put your ID on file. Once you have that in the computer, that makes things kind of easy. Anyhow, I gave them $200, and I was in the deep stack 8 o'clock tournament, but it was 10 p.m. The latest you could get in there, right around 10:15. I think it's too late, since the computer showed I had, like I said, a World Series. But that's the thing, I wouldn't be able to again if I was at the window and the computers didn't see that I had a World Series of Poker app account. I wouldn't get to play. So because of all the help they gave me over customer service, I was able to get a World Series of Poker app account in my name, and it showed up. I was able to, like I said, give them $200 and play. I don't have time to tell you the new rules on buying into the tournaments through the app. Oh, I mean, I've heard some stories on that. I just don't have time to go into that. But you do need to go in one day ahead of time and wait in line and learn the rules. Seriously, if you're going to go in and play in a tournament, you better learn the rules quickly before you go in early. 95% of the players, now I'm in the tournament, I'm in the little $200 deep stack tournament. 95% of the players had their cell phones with them, and they were signed in to the World Series of Poker app right there at the table. Now, you're not allowed to look at your phone while you're in a hand. That's a new rule. You cannot look at your phone while you're in a hand, but you have to have the phone with you with the World Series of Poker app on. Like I said, this is a new era. We're entering a new era that I was talking about. I was one of the few who did not have the app turned on. Bad me. And here's the thing. When the floor person has to send you to a new table for whatever reason, balance out the tables, etc., etc. You look on your World Series of Poker app, and it tells you where to go. It tells you what table to go. You go right to the table. You don't need the floor person to tell you. The dealer has a picture of you on their little screen when you arrive at a new table. They have a picture of you. They make sure it is you that's sitting down. And believe it or not, you're going to find this shocking. To believe it or not, this will really speed up the game. And I started to understand the madness. That's where it really got crazy. I actually started to believe and understand the madness. I couldn't believe it. An old man like me starting to believe the new era might be okay. God damn. It was a wake-up call for me. What an ordeal. And you might be wondering, so what happens? I'm in a tournament. I don't have my World Series of Poker app turned on. Then what happens? Well, if you have to move tables, if the floor person says, hey, you got to go over that table, well, then she will manually tell you where to go to. She'll have to tell you, you have to go to the floor person and say, hey, I don't have my app on. Or how about if your battery goes dead? Well, they do tell you where to go to. And don't say it. Don't say they do tell you where to go. I won a couple hands in the little tournament. I won a couple hands. And then right about during the end there, about 12:30 p.m., I've been playing for a little over 2 hours. I had 33K in front of me, and there was about 30 players left. They're paying 20 players. And then I made what was probably a questionable judgment play. It didn't work out. Had it worked out, it would have been great, but it didn't work out, so it's a questionable judgment play. I go all in with king 10 of diamonds. I don't like doing that. I like to have if I'm going to go all in, I like to have an ace. But I had king 10 of diamonds, and it proved I was stupid, silly me, 2 callers, and I missed everything, and I lost to a king jack. Yeah, it's amazing. The only hand that night I saw 3 players in there, king jack high win. If I had an ace, I would have won a big $90,000 pot. Unbelievable. I was knocked out around 12:30, right before the bubble. What are my suggestions? Here are my suggestions for you real quick. Go to the Horseshoe early, 3 hours before your game, and be ready to wait in line. 2, upload the app, the World Series of Poker official app. Upload it on your cell phone at home in the comfort of your home. Have the app ready and open before going into the Horseshoe. Have it ready because you're going to need it at the table. Just in case, make sure you can access your email account on your phone before you go to the Horseshoe, since they may have to send you a confirmation number, and that's where I ran into problems. I couldn't get it into my email. Make sure you have your cell phone fully charged. What happens if your battery goes dead? I saw people there, their battery was going dead and they needed it at the table. Be prepared to be friendly to the employees who are also feeling just like you. If you're having a hard time, they feel your pain with this new app, this new WSOP app. You have to have it on and blah, blah, blah. They feel your pain. They're trying their best to help, and I know because they were very patient with me. Be prepared. Please be prepared to be patient, and you're going to need to be patient. Wow, do your homework. This is your homework. If you watch this whole video, this is going to help you. This is part of your homework. Again, I think earlier I said I told some 25-year-old kid my ordeal, and he looked at me. He said, you know what he told me? You did not do your homework. I started to laugh, and I said, you know what? You're right. I was not ready to enter the new era. I was not ready. And what I had to go through. I'm trying to help you here. Good luck, and get the cards in the air. These are like the World Series of Poker cards, huh?
Yes, so Kopag is the official card of the World Series.
Oh, this is the official.
These are all of our new setups here. And if you look here, we have all the used decks from the previous years, 2016, going all the way through 2024.
Oh, from 2016 to 2024. These
first year Kopag started making cards all the way up to last year.
Oh, the used decks.
Yep.
$7 for a used deck.
And all these decks are 100% plastic. They won't crease, fold. You can hand wash them.
These are like poker cards over here that you can reuse these.
Yep.
And they're $25 for 2 decks. Hey, that's kind of cool. Thank you.
Absolutely.
You sold a lot so far?
It's been pretty good so far. See, we're here the whole series. So.
Yeah, well, yeah.